Start. I will hit record. All right, welcome you guys. This is like our normal crew and I love it. Hopefully we get a couple more people to join us over the next few weeks. It's tricky. I know that this is a tricky time for a lot of people and I say that every week and I apologize. I just don't know when else to do it when I have not so many distractions. So we're just going to keep sticking with the Tuesday evenings for now and we'll see what happens. Maybe we can add another time in eventually, but this call is our book club. And the book that we chose this month was Get Over Your Darn Self by Romy Neustadt. I don't know if that's how you really say it, but that's how you say it in German, and I speak German. So that's how I'm going to say your last name, Neustadt, which means new state, if you're curious. Anyways, I'm going to just open it up to you guys first. What were some of the things that jumped out at you? Stacy, do you want to start?
Sure. So one of the biggest things that I got from her was to lead with the opportunity and not just with the product. Because everything I did was always, just focus on the product. And I wasn't adding to my team because I never talked about coaching.
Yeah.
So I've really changed that. And I had in your what is coaching, I had 3 people in there and I have 1 that's going to sign up and 2 that are close to it. So I'm like, it works. Just lead with the opportunity.
That is awesome. That's something that I've struggled with as well. And I think it's because the products are what changed my life. And so when I jumped into this business, I was thinking it's the products that I want to share to change people's lives. But truthfully, if we want to grow big businesses that are going to pay our bills and are going to reach more people, then absolutely we need to be leading with business. Kim, I noticed a post that you put up recently about how you're going to be how did you say it? You're going to be basically starting a mentorship to help people start their own businesses in this. And I was like, the way you worded it was so perfect and so awesome. That's exactly how we should be leading with business.
Yes, definitely. I got that from her actually. So probably the same area. So she's been inspiring me. I think just kind of with that, just something I just read last night, and I'm just kind of trying to find it because it's hold on, chapter 5 I finished, so I'm on chapter 6 now. You can see where I'm bookmarked.
Nice.
But I think the one thing I want to start hitting home is referrals. When people are like, well, maybe, I'm like, well, do you know someone that needs it right now?
Yeah.
It's so weird because like I said, I learned this as a recruiter. I finished recruiting in 2009, so it's been some time. And I didn't realize how rusty I was, and I'm like, I know this stuff. Why aren't I doing this?
Yes.
So it was a good reminder to kind of get me back into that, I guess sales, but relationship sales, I guess. Totally. Kind of in my Mormon days, the flirt to convert. I'm not saying flirting, but definitely building that relationship before you actually them into your spiel.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's so funny because I have never asked for referrals. I think I've done it in a way that's towards the end of a group or whatever with my challengers, hey, if you have anyone else that wants to do this, we talk about the business, you could become a coach, or if they want to do this with you, I've done that. But ever since reading this book, I'm like, duh, referrals all the way. Why am I not doing that? And it's interesting because I've heard Bonnie Engel talk about that. Hey, Stacy, by the way, 2 Stacys now. I've heard Bonnie Engel talk about how she does that all the time. She asks for referrals. Well, she went from 2-star to 15-star in 1 year. The girl knows what she's doing, so maybe I should take some hints from some of these coaches. So I love that. I think referrals is huge. And I've started asking for referrals too, especially from UK people that are interested. Not that it's worked yet, but it's going to. Someone's going to have a referral eventually. Stacy Richens, Wilson, how's it going? We're friends from high school, so I still call her by her maiden name sometimes.
It's good. I just finished my workout and my butt is on fire. But
Booty day. How'd you like the book?
I like loved it and I didn't love it. Like I definitely would not recommend it to a new coach.
No.
Because I think there's a lot of things that like are definitely like network specific, you know. So, it made me appreciate the Beachbody community so much more and how we run it as a business. So I definitely wouldn't be like out of the gate like this is awesome, you know. But I found a lot of like gems and jewels in it that I was like, yes. And like things like you said, you've heard that from Bonnie Engel to get referrals, like things that I've heard before, but like they just clicked for some reason in this book and hearing her talk about it. And I think, I know I didn't hear what you guys said before, sorry, but one of the biggest things for me was when she was just like, don't focus on the outcome when you start talking to them, you know, like, and if you were to ask me, I would say, well, I don't care, or like go for no. And you know, I wouldn't think that I cared about it. But when I like really thought about it and heard her talk about it more, like a lot of times I am hesitant to ask things or to bring it up too soon or like second guess myself because I'm afraid that like the way I bring it up is going to bring them to a no because I'm not doing it right. And, you know, like, so after reading it, like I literally wrote a note to myself and I have it out as I'm talking to people. And it just says, we're not focusing on the outcome, just share what has worked with you. And that's something that I'm sure I've told my coaches before, but just even focusing on that, like it is not about the outcome. Like if it's meant to be, it'll be. And like, if not, like just go talk to somebody else. Don't worry about the outcome. Present the opportunity and present it to someone else and present it to someone else. And, you know, so I don't know.
One thing
was my big thing.
Sorry, what?
No, I was just saying that was just a big thing. So.
Oh, yeah. Stacey Gardner, were you going to say something?
Yeah. One thing I liked that she talked about was how she approached the opportunity. It wasn't like, you know, come do this salesy business with me. It was, I don't know if this would work for you, but this is what I've been doing and maybe it would help you. So do you want to learn more type thing instead of just like, come sell, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so I liked that approach better than like how some other people do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of times we get caught up on like, I don't know. It's not like I'm like, hey, come join my team. But I think that we talk so much about the fitness coaching aspect of our business, which is obviously what we do, right? But we don't necessarily focus on what this business can do for people. Does that make sense? Like we focus on what it can do for challengers. At least maybe this is just me. And I feel like in our upline, it's kind of like, because we all kind of learn what we learn from our upline, right? Where she is talking to people who are like, I just, you know, we're tight on money this month or this and that. And where I think sometimes I slow down. I'm like, okay, well, when you get in a better place, then let me know to join my challenge. Whereas what I should be saying is, hey, you should look into this opportunity because the fact is I'm making money as a coach. Like there are moms out there who are strapped and living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, but I could help them, you know? So I agree, Stacey. I think that was kind of an eye opener for me too, where I'm like, I need to be way more bold with presenting the opportunity and giving people the chance to look into this and even just talking about it more. Because the business side can help people just like the fitness side can. So I love that. Hey, Danielle, how's it going, girl?
Hey.
We're just kind of sharing things that jumped out at us. What did you like about the book?
I haven't even finished it.
You're good. Neither is Kim.
I've only gotten to two chapters of it so far.
Okay. So not yet.
I was kind of just listening to what everybody else thought. I'll get there.
Yeah, no, you're good. One thing that I liked that she shared, let me see. I feel like I had just seen it in here as I was scrolling through. I was telling the girls I actually haven't read it either, but I listened to it twice. I meant to pull out my book and like mark things and I just never did. So it's all just kind of in my brain. But one thing that I found interesting that she talked about that I have just barely kind of sort of started dipping my foot into is she talks about sharing people's stories, right? Like people's kind of their transformation stories. we share a lot of before and afters, which I will never stop doing because it definitely shows that these products work and people love to see that these products work. But she shares a lot of stories about, for example, teachers who have been able to retire from teaching because of this opportunity, or flight attendants who are able to quit, that job so they can do this, or stay-at-home moms who are able to start paying their household bill. Like she shares stories about how the business is blessing people's lives. And that's something I want to start doing. And if you Google it, like, you can find so many people's amazing stories of how they've been able to completely transform their financial situation and their freedom of time and things with this business. And I think that sharing those stories is another way to help people see what's possible and to relate to people. She said she talks about the importance of gathering stories, just kind of like in your file book in a way, of like stories of just people from all different walks of life, so that when you do meet someone, like if you meet a real estate agent who just feels strapped for time and is always going here to there and whatever, but then you have a story about a real estate agent who's been able to retire from that because they make more money as a Beachbody coach, just for example, that's something you can talk to this person about, like if they're feeling overwhelmed with their job and they're not loving it. So that's something that I would like to start implementing a little bit more, is sharing some of those stories. Yeah, Stacy.
And I liked it too, because when she was saying that, this is like, I remember someone talking about that at our very first summit. For those of you who don't know me, that was like 4 years ago or something crazy. We were like, guys, we had been coaches like 2 months. Like, we were so new. We had no idea what we were doing. But I remember someone like saying, like, you need to have like stories you can pull out of your back pocket. And, it kind of goes over your head, because there was so much going on then, but then she talks about it. And one thing I really liked that she mentioned was just, she talks about like owning where you are in your journey. Because I look at it and I'm like, well, I can share all these awesome things about other people, but then I like hesitate having people sign on with me, because I'm like, well, I've been a coach, almost 4 years, and what do I have to show for it? Not a lot. And she's like, own that. Just say, hey, guess what? Like, I stepped back from it, or whatever, or I wasn't being coachable, or I've decided to take it from a hobby and now make it a business, and I'm going for it. Do you want to join me? She said, don't like cover up where you are, but also don't let your lack of success or your journey that you had to take hold them back from their journey that they need to take. And so still present it, own where you are, but have those stories to share what is possible, even if that wasn't your journey. And that really helped me, because I feel guilty about that. I really do. I'm like, I thought this was going to be big, and then it wasn't. But I've had other priorities that had to take place, and that's okay. But it can't hold someone else back because I had other priorities, because it really can take off for them if they want and need it to.
Yeah. I love that. I didn't even remember that from that summit. That's one of the things that went over my head. Cool. What are some other thoughts? What are other things that jumped out at you guys? Or how about this? What are some things that you guys learned that you feel like I can start implementing that right now? Stacy.
So I really liked her action bullets. And when she was talking about her why, or like why you need a strong why, what really hit me was your why has to affect you. Because I kept thinking, oh, it's to help my family, it's to help my, blah, blah, blah. But she said, if it isn't a strong enough why to help you, then you're going to, fall to the wayside, because you're not going to have a strong enough reason. And so she like helps you dig into really finding your real why. And then she has you do this activity where, you write down, what will your life be like in 5 years if you don't do this? Or if you don't, like some of them is, if you don't achieve your why, where will you be and how will your life be? And so she like has you really dig in, and then you write it down, and then you read it every day for 3 weeks, so that on those days when you're feeling, oh, I don't want to do this, it pulls you back into, okay, this is why I need to do this. So it was really good. It was a good activity.
I love that. I need to do that activity. I do remember her talking about how she talked to one girl who said, my why is to help my kids get into college or to help pay for their college or something like that. And she was like, I can tell that you have zero emotion behind that. You know, like that's not even pushing you. Like you're still not doing the actions to create this business, you know? And then she kind of was like, well, they're my kids. Like it should be enough. You know what I mean? Like that should be it. And she was able to talk. That's actually interesting because this is, this hit me when I was reading or listening to it, I guess, because I've always kind of said like my why is to help us get out of debt. Like we're actually in a lot of debt for my husband's education. And we have all these like, it's going to be so awesome when we don't have to pay back all these student loans every month or whatever, you know, but that hasn't driven me like it should. And when I was reading this or listening to it, I was like, yeah, that's me. Like it should drive me because we do want to be out of debt. And I do recognize that we'll be able to help more people and save more money and do these things, but it's not driving me to like do the actions. And I realized that my why is a lot like this lady's, where I just want to kind of prove to myself that I can do something great. You know, like I think I kind of got not sucked in. How do you say it? I became a mom, which was always my dream and always my goal. And it's like, it's my calling in life. I love my babies. This is what I was meant to do. But I lost myself in having these babies, you know? Like when I read that or listened to it, I remember just thinking, yeah, that's my why, is to prove to myself that I can do something great, that I can affect a lot of people, that I can grow a business from home, you know? And in a way, it's also to show my daughters, because I've got 4 daughters, that like, you can do anything that you work hard enough for. Like you can become anything. So anyways, I loved that too. Just that thought of like, figure out your why. And it has to be something that affects you, like not anybody else. Cause I was trying to like include my family in that too. Like get out of debt and, you know, pay off our house eventually, you know, all these things, but it's gotta be for you.
Can I add to that too? Yeah. And I think, honestly, I think it's something that like is so powerful that it's something I want to start implementing as I get new coaches on board. Mm-hmm. I think if they have something and they write that down and they read that every day for the first 21 days that they're a coach, like that is going to really set like a good, you know, because it's, you know, I don't know, it'll just set a good tone for the whole business. It'll show them what it means to be consistent. It'll remind them every day of that why. And it might even at the end of the 21 days be an early realization that that's not a good enough why for them. And then they realize 3 weeks into it that they need a new why and not 3 years into it after going halfway for 3 years. So I really like that too, because, you know, like everything you guys all talked about, and I think it's something I'm going to implement with new coaches.
Something too that you just made me think of is, I know, because my why when I started was like to help other moms get healthy. Like that's a good thing, right? And it's something that I've been able to do month after month after month for almost 4 years. But I did not know at the beginning of coaching what was possible with this business. I didn't know that I could earn a significant amount of money. I didn't know, like, I just didn't know. So I think as coaches now, if we are talking about the business and talking about this opportunity in a way that helps people realize this can help them, not just physically, which is amazing, but it can help them financially. It can change their whole family. I think if we're putting that out there and making people more aware of that, then when they jump in, they are going to jump in with more of a business mindset, and they are going to jump in with more of a why that can really affect them. Whereas my why at the beginning, again, my why is changed over the 4 years, but helping them to have that strong why at the beginning, I think is going to help coaches to jump in and stick with it longer, you know? Like, we've seen a lot of change on this team, you guys. Like, those of us who have been around for 4 years, like me, Stacy, and Danielle. Danielle, how long have you been a coach now?
3 years.
How far behind me? 4 years?
3.
3. So we've seen a ton of, like, ins and outs. You know what I mean? Like, a lot. Yeah, a lot of ups and downs.
Can tell who are in it for the long haul and who aren't.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think those who aren't, which this is not for everybody. And that's something else that she talks about in this book. If you don't like talking to people, and if you don't like people, then you're probably in the wrong profession, right? Stacy, you're not in the wrong profession. Don't point to yourself, you weirdo.
No, but there are so many times after like the first like 3 chapters of this book, I'm like, she's told me to quit like 5 times because she's like, then this just isn't for you. I'm like, oh crap. Like she started talking about stuff. She's like, if this is you and this is you and this is you. I'm like, yes. She's like, this isn't for you. I'm like, crap.
But you're still here, Stacy. I mean,
I am. It is true. And so with that too, it's also like, that's not always true. You know what? I am not a people person. I am an introvert. And this business has made me grow a lot. It's really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And it has taken different paths because, you know what? Like, we did have different things that became a priority in our family. And even though that had to take center stage for a little bit, it doesn't mean I'm down and out. Like, I'm still here and showing up. But just know, like, as she says things, like, if you know someone, just don't let that hold you back. Like, if you know someone, you're like, oh, they're not a people person. It doesn't matter. Like, if you want it and you just go for it. And if you heard her say some things and you're like, well, that's me. Well, maybe this isn't for me. Forget it. Like, she's the first one who would tell you that, just like, if someone says you can't do it, just hush them and prove to your, like as Autumn would say, if you guys are doing the 80-day obsession, prove to yourself that you can. Like, even if that stuff, whatever they say, just prove to yourself that you can. Even if you don't like talking to people, you know, like that, it doesn't matter because there's a lot of these skills that can be learned. And I'll be honest with you, it would be easier if it was easy for me to talk to people. It would be easier if I was a natural conversationalist. I'm not. If you sat next to me on the bus, I would like turn inside out and puke in my lunch bag before I turn and had a conversation with you. But it's true. But that doesn't mean that I can't reach out to other people, and you know, and those skills can be learned. You know, it might take a little longer, as I'm proof of, but it can still happen. So
well, and
keep
I
going.
think one thing that she does talk about that I love too is that this business isn't hard, and everything that we need to do can be learned. There are no secrets. It's just a matter of doing the things day in, day out, whether we feel like it or not. You guys, today I was off. Today was an off day for me. I even messed up on my nutrition, and I'm mad at myself because I have been perfect with the 80-day obsession nutrition until today when my dang kids popped kettle corn and I couldn't stop eating it. And then I found some York peppermint patties that I thought were gone, and they weren't. So I completely fell off the wagon. And my husband was awesome. He was like, well, just start again right now. And I was like, okay, so I had a perfect dinner, and I'm going to have my recharge tonight, and tomorrow will be perfect again. But I had an off day, and I did not want to invite people today. Like, I'll just be honest. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to respond to any of my messages. I had like 10 this morning. I didn't want to invite anybody, but I was thinking about this book, and I was thinking about everything I know about the business, and this business is about doing the things you need to do when you don't feel like doing them. So I sent out my invites, and I replied to all my messages, and I have some people that are interested in coaching. I have some people that are interested in challenge packs. I have some people who are like, nope, that's not for me. You know, I got a lot of no's today, but just doing the actions, even though I wasn't feeling like it, like got me going again. Do you know what I mean? It was still kind of an off day. Like, it just was. I think I woke up mad that I had to stay up late to fold everyone's laundry. I literally was like, you girls are folding your own laundry from now on. I lost an hour of sleep because of you. I was like mad. But anyways, that's what the business is. The business is doing the things that we need to be doing, whether we feel like it or not. And it's not like there aren't any secrets, you know, like it's just doing the things. Did any of you guys, I know this is getting a little bit off the book, but did any of you guys watch the most recent team call by something Boyer? What's her name? In Forward Fitness?
Was it about just her consistency, or like what was the topic?
I've only listened to half of it. I was listening to it while I was prepping dinner. Man, what is her first name? Anyway, she's a 5-star diamond on Team Forward Fitness, a lifetime 5-star who's hit like Success Club 30. She recruited 10 new coaches last month. Anyways, go to Forward Fitness and pull it up and listen to it because it was awesome. I feel like I listened to it or went into it thinking like, okay, what is she doing? Like, there's got to be like, I still 4 years in and being quite successful, to be honest, I still am like, there's another step that I'm missing, you know, like there's got to be things that these extra successful coaches are doing that I'm not. And like, there's not. Like, it's a numbers game. She's talking to more people. She's adding people to her network that are like her, not just like adding random friends, but adding people that she can tell are like her. She is putting up posts that are getting people to converse with her. Like she talked about Tasty Tuesdays and how she puts up her meal and then says, if you want the recipe, just let me know. And she gets like 100 replies of people saying, yeah, I want the recipe. And then she replies to all of them. And then a few hours later, she puts up a Transformation Tuesday. And everyone sees that, you know, the transformation that we can all access from beachbody.com. Like there are you can Google it. There are transformation pictures everywhere. She said for the past few months, every Tuesday, she's put up an 80-day obsession transformation. So anyway, she's doing things that I'm like, we can all be doing that. Like I can be doing, you know? So anyways, and it was the consistency that she talked about. Like you said, Stacy, she just talked about the consistency. So I'm getting off and I'm talking too much. I did not mean to like dominate this conversation. What are some other things that jumped out at you guys?
Well, I just want to tie back to something that Stacy said about, you know, not projecting who is good for this business and who isn't. Like Stacy, I am an introvert. I am horrible at conversations, but it's something that I've always wanted to be better at. And so it's something that I found in this business is helping me to grow and become. And so if someone had just thought, oh, she doesn't talk to people, you know, she's too quiet, she would not be good at this, then I would have, you know, been left out in the cold of doing something that I actually really love doing and growing. So, you know, that's something to think about too, is just don't have a preconceived notion of who this business is for and who it isn't for.
Yeah, I love that. Kim, you're just going to say something.
Did anyone do their dream board or do anything of that? Because she talks about having like her dreams, like writing them down. And from you, actually, you kind of inspired me a little bit too. I posted it. I don't know if you saw mine, but
I didn't. I'm going to look for it.
So, but yeah, I can show you guys mine at the end. So
yes, I would love it. We've got 10 more minutes before they cut us off, so I definitely want to see it.
You're going to see a messy house too, so because we're packing. But yeah, go ahead. So
okay, you keep going. I love that too, because she does talk about visualizing and like seeing what you want. Oh, let me see if I can.
Do you see it? It's really dark right here.
Yep, I'm tired.
If I put it on, oh, here we go. I've got it on speaker view so I can see it better. Okay, what things do you have on there, Kim?
So it's definitely my why. But yeah, travel. I want to be a health coach, but I actually am going to get my nutrition. So my Beachbody is paying for that because it's going to be expensive. And then this is holding it up. But we're starting a farm and we're going to have an herb garden, which I hope to start this spring. So,
I love
I don't
that.
know if you see it.
Danielle, who's also on the call, is way into nutrition as well and has been doing a lot of nutrition coaching. So you guys can totally collaborate. That's awesome. I love it. I feel like having those things in front of your face helps so much with moving things forward and making you do those actions, because you know that if you don't do the actions day in and day out, you're never going to get to your why, right? Like you're never going to get to those things that you want, your dreams and your goals. I loved chapter 9 where she talks about the fortune is in the follow-up. I used to struggle with following up. You know, like when you send out an invite and they're like, yeah, maybe. And then you reply to it, like you send out another invite, or you like message them again and then it's like nothing. Like those are the ones that I'm like, okay, like never mind. And then I never follow up, which is stupid. And I don't say I never. I used to not. I've gotten much better over the past year or so. But the fortune really is in the follow-up. I think that so many times life is just busy for people and they might read our message real quick and then forget, which I have done, forget to respond. Or, you know, like there's a million reasons why people don't respond to us right away or why they like fall off or whatever. But the fortune really is in the follow-up. In fact, there are people who have told me no. There's one girl who I just messaged the other day who told me no a long time ago. Like, she's kind of like, oh, no, I'm good. I just messaged her and was like, listen, this 80-day obsession thing is awesome, and I think you would love it. Are you ready? And she was like, actually, yeah, I am. I was like, oh. And I kind of go in expecting a no, and she even talks about that. Like, most people are going to say no. Like, expect to be told no. Don't take it personally. Don't get all offended. It's not about you. It's about them and their journey, right? Which, man, being offended, I was like, I always felt like weird at the beginning when people would tell me no, like, oh, they hate me, or like they think I'm weird because I'm a coach, or like it doesn't even faze me anymore now, you guys. Like, people tell me no and I'm like, all right, like, on to the next. I'm gonna find my tribe. I'm gonna find the people who need my help, and I'm just gonna keep on messaging and following up until I find them. But chapter 9 was a really good one. I think that's one that we could all definitely focus on when it comes to invites, is making time for the follow-ups as well.
Do you know the trick about re-highlighting your messages in Messenger so that you don't forget to respond to those?
No.
So that's my trick for ways I don't forget, because, you know, we're all busy and we might read a message and can't respond at that moment. And if we don't, we forget.
Yeah.
And so what I've gotten in the habit of doing is either I don't open them until I know I can sit down and respond, or if I do read it, you can hold the message, put your finger on and hold it, and it will pop up, will come up, and it'll say more, and it'll say mark as unread. And so I will remark it as unread so it's highlighted, and that way I know when I can sit down and answer messages to go back to those highlighted ones that I've not respond to. So that's a trick that I wish everybody would learn, so people quit. The hard part for me is not knowing, did they forget? Did they read this and then just get sidetracked and not respond, or are they ignoring me?
Right.
Because if they're ignoring me, I don't want to bug them. But if they literally just forgot to reply, so anyway, most people don't know that trick, and of course I can't tell everybody to do that, but we can train our coaches to do that so we're not missing messages and not responding back to people.
I love that. That's a great tip.
She talks about that in the book. She talks about how, like, when people don't respond, she's like, you need to stop assuming that they're ignoring you. Truth is, they got busy. They answered it when they read it when they couldn't, respond, and then they got distracted. She's like, do not assume that a non-response is they're ignoring you. You're the only one making it awkward. She's like,
I don't know. Don't you think a lot of people ignore? I do. I think a lot of people get those messages and they don't know, they don't want to hurt your feelings, or they don't want to say no, and they just don't message you back.
I like the way that she put it, because she put it in a way that takes all the pressure off of you, where she says it in a way that's like, hey, so I'm really good at my job and I'm going to keep following up because I know that you would love this. So if you don't want me to, then just tell me no. It's like kind of to the point where they're like, okay, if I do not want to get a message from Angelican, I have to reply and be like, yeah, no, I'm not interested.
So do you say that? Do you reply?
I haven't done that yet. I haven't done that yet, but I loved how she put it in the book, because that's what she says. She says she writes to people and she says, hey, me again. I'm really good at my job, so I'm going to keep following up until I hear otherwise from you. Like, that's basically what she says. I was like,
I'm so doing that.
Right? It's kind of brilliant.
I'm so doing that.
It's kind of brilliant because, first of all, it's telling him I'm good at my job. So if you ever want to join me, I'm good. And I'm going to help you to be good too. Like, I'll be a great mentor for you. 2, I'm good at my job. So I'm going to keep following up with you because this is my job.
Until you tell me no.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think it's great. I think it takes all the pressure off of them to be like, this is awkward. And like, that's basically me saying like, hey, if the answer is no, just tell me. Like, it's no big deal. I'm not going to take it personally. And
would you say that in your message? If this isn't your thing, just say no. And I'll move on. Or how would you word that?
I think I would. I think if someone is totally, which I'll be honest, I haven't had anyone completely ignore me for a while. I used to get it all the time. So like,
I still get it all the time. It drives me nuts.
It's crazy.
I'd rather someone just tell me I'm not interested. And I'd be like, great, no problem. Move on, like you said,
But just tell them that. I have been. So this last month or two, like, I've been posting like 80-day transformations. And like my engagement on those posts have been like out of this world, well, for my little page, you know. And so I was wasting so much time with people who weren't responding. So I finally did a message where I said that I'm like, if this is not the right time for you, like I don't even know how I worded it, but I said like, hey, I have your spot reserved in this group. If this is not for you, or if this is not a right time, just tell me and I will move on and we can, you know. And I actually had so many people respond with like the whole like, oh my goodness, I want it to be, I just got lost. Like it really shocked me how many people I honestly thought were ignoring me. And when I put them that like, hey, if this isn't a good time, that's totally fine. I just need to know who's going to be in my group because I only have so many spots, you know, that they actually, it like took the pressure, like that thing says, it like took the pressure off them. I got great responses. And some people told me no. And honestly, I was just as relieved to get a no and know that like I could put a follow-up a month later and just check back in than like keep feeling. And like, if that's how you are, like do it, say it, because people who are like you, right, you're going to attract people like you, and that's who you're going to like working at. So if you can be honest like that in your messages, the people who do respond to it are going to be more of your tribe and gel more with you anyway. You know, and if they say no, then like good riddance in the best way. I wish you the best of luck, but we're not meant to be. It's not the right time, whatever. But I have more to do than chase after people. So I've really had, you know, I agree with Angel. I like the way she worded it, and I will probably add that like, hey, I'm an awesome coach, so this is what we do, because I do like that setup. But I've really had a lot of success just giving them like giving them the okay to tell me no. And I feel like it's taken the awkwardness off of them and freed me as well from having to continually follow up.
I love that. Okay, it tells me we've got less than a minute left, so we're going to get cut off, which stinks. I should probably one of these days pay for like a longer thing.